Hello, my name is Céline Tamayon and I'm in charge of customer marketing and communication for Sonepar France. My role is to ensure that we offer the best omni-channel experience to our customers. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Sonepar. Sonepar is a world leader in the distribution of electrical device, solution and services. In fact, our products are everywhere, from the light you switch on in the morning, the underground you take to go to work, or even in the power supply of the hospital of your city. Sonepar motto is to be la référence. What does it mean for our customers that are turning more and more digital? First of all, it means that we have to ease their day. From the search of products, the delivery of these products, you know that the day of an electrician can be very hectic, and they have to have a real easy access to the product information and the supply of the products all day long, especially when they come back from the site where they've been working all day and they need to order their material for the next day. Our logistics enables to deliver the next morning any product which has been ordered the night before. But for that, we need to be very reactive and to have very smooth access to the customer journey all along the different tools he's using. That's the second point. For the customer, it needs to be a very smooth experience. Our customers are B2B, so they both know very well the teams, but they also have access to their computer to do their order or to search their info, and they sometimes just finish their order when they are at the sites, and they use mobile device for that. So we have to ensure the functionalities like reordering, easy transferring from desktop to mobile, or having their runners, as we say, the product they're used to buy every week with very easy access, so they can there refill their stock very easily. And finally, we also need to ease the experience of our associates. It is very important for our teams to have the same level of information regarding the customer journey that the customer has himself. So when they come to the counter in our shops, it's important that they can find the orders they've been starting the night before in front of their computer and have a very smooth journey. For that, we needed a bunch of functionalities that were very important in the development of the platform. Digital tech platform and the physical branches are really the two columns of the giant that we are at Sonepar. That's why we decided to team up with Sapient in order to develop a very efficient technological platform that would ease both our customer journey and our associate work in their daily life. And so this is why we decided to team up with Sapient with a very agile way of development. And I will now hand over to the Sapient women team to present the different aspects of the work that has been done over the last months.
Hello, I'm Christelle. I'm the product owner of Cart and Checkout feature team. Let's talk about Spark architecture principles and foundations. The Spark platform is designed to be flexible and modular. We aim to build a continuous evolving architecture. It is designed with evolvability as its first-class concept, which enables it to evolve with the rapid changing software ecosystem, both in terms of processes and tools. Multi-tenancy. Spark architecture is multi-tenant by design in order to support different opcos' uniqueness to achieve high degree of flexibility. Data first. Data is leveraged for decision-making. This helps in generating meaningful insights for customer and sales team experience. As a service, all components expose their functions via REST, JSON, or similar construct. Technology independence. Spark architecture does not restrict the use of any language or framework that are considered deemed fit for a feature or system or integration. Microservices, headless. All components built or used are built on microservices architecture paradigm. Cloud native. Spark architecture makes use of Azure Cloud Native services as much as possible. For third-party solutions, preference is given for a SaaS-based or managed services offerings. Continuous delivery. The software developed or enhancements are always released and deployed in short cycles as agreed on a regular basis. Last but not least, secure and designed for failure. Security constitutes an integral part of the design from the start and the continuous process of the delivery. Due to the complex nature of architecture, failures are inevitable. Hence, we built an architecture that anticipates failures, handles them, and is self-healing.
Hi, my name is Camille and I am in charge of the user research for this program. Basically, my role is to create customer centricity within the company and ensure that at all levels the customer's voice is heard and their needs are addressed. Though everybody is now talking about customer centricity, it is not that easy to actually truly be customer-centric and put the customer at the center of your company's culture. To do this, and to do this long-term, we use three major pillars. The first one that I want to talk to you about is education. I want to address the elephant in the room right on. Obviously, our clients know their customers. They have a very privileged relationship with them, but a relationship is not knowledge. Our role as user researchers is really to deconstruct these certainties and to go against observation and confirmation biases, which are basically, I'm seeing what I am expecting to see. And to be able to do this and do this solidly, we have to really explain our methodologies, the tools we use, why we use them, for which purpose, and how we do. And this is only through this way that we will be able to have solid insights that are perceived as solid and make sense for the client. In this specific case of Sonepar, we also chose to address the fact that the company is global. And for us, that meant do user research in all 4 pilot countries in order to A, address the cultural gap, and B, have all countries onboarded and avoid the, oh, but this is true for France, but maybe not true for my country. We also took, actually quite literally, to the word education, because we trained Sonepar associates to do user testings in various countries. So it means that we really got employees of Sonepar involved in the user research project. The second pillar I want to talk about is communication. As user researchers, we have a very transversal roles. Of course, our main interlocutors are the designers, but we also talk with POs, with PMs, and with basically everyone involved in the program. And for us, it's a way to get their input, their questions, their problematics. Maybe they won't formulate it as a need for research, but it is our job to identify when there is a need for research and when a question is actually a need. And in reverse, they need our output. And to do this and to address all those different types of people, of stakeholders, we produce very different formats for our results. So from very top-of-the-line newsletters to extremely detailed presentations, so everybody can take something out of what we produce. It's really about keeping in mind that we are the link between the customer and the digital factory and vice versa. And finally, the last pillar is delivery. Delivery, it's about ensuring that the pace of the research makes sense within the pace of the program. We need to start strong and fast. We need to have a clear schedule of research. We need to have very clear rendezvous, whether it is demos, presentations, etc. We need to create a habit so that people know that every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, so on, they will have insights or they can input their questions, etc. It's really about creating this habit. It's very much like an addiction, but I swear this one is super good for your health and especially your companies. And finally, to conclude this, basically for us, the success factor of the user research is once we leave the program, within Sonepar, within the digital factory, this habit, those reflexes keep on living. All those people we trained, all those people we've accustomed to user research will continue to have this reflex and really infuse this research culture within the company.
Hello, my name is Roxane Levy and I'm part of the user research team. My role is to understand customer behaviors to make sure that the platform we're building are answering their needs. So we've talked about customer centricity cultures, and now we will see how we did so on an international project such as Sonepar. Just keep in mind that every actionable action that we did is actually done in 4 languages, the 4 languages of the pilot countries, so French, Italian, Norwegian, and Dutch. First thing first is to understand who are your customers. So here on a B2B platform, you have two types of users. The final customer, of course, here the installers, but also the salespeople, the one who are using the eShop as a tool every day. So you're still following? 4 countries, 2 types of users. Then in our toolkit, we have 3 types of user research method to capture the customer needs based on the strategic issue that we have to solve. We have usability tests to test the design and the journeys to make sure that everything is understood by the users. We will have qualitative interviews, ethnographic interviews to deep dive subjects, but also quantitative surveys to test the satisfaction, the NPS, and other quantitative data that we have to collect. Finally, we have to discuss about results. So if we recap, we have 4 countries, 2 types of user, 3 types of research method, but the only rule you have to follow is release actionable insight at the right time. On an agile project such as Sonepar, everything is about pace. You have to deliver insight at the right timing so the feature team can use it. So each sprint is 2 weeks. On the first week, we will test everything, exploratory question, usability test, and on the other part of the sprint, the feature team, the designer, and the developer can rework based on the results. Regarding actionable insight, our role is to deliver the right level of insight. So we create different typology of results. We have the pain point, the blockers, the customer observation, the customer behaviors, but also the gain points. And the role here is to help POs to prioritize based on this level of information. And this is thanks to this 4-2-3-1 formula that we succeed in infusing a customer centricity culture in a project with a French giant such as Sonepar.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel and I am part of the design team. My role with the studio, of course, because I'm not alone, is to make the customer experience efficient and consistent end-to-end. We first take in consideration the business needs, then we take the best practices regarding the benchmark and the experience standard, and the most important for us is to get the insight provided by the user research. So with all these requirements, we are able to start to design the platform to design the search, the product listing page, the product detail page, the cart, the checkout, and the account. Once our first solutions are prototyped, we will test them with the final user, thanks to Camille and Roxane, and we will get their feedback to rework and improve our layout. And we can iterate as much as necessary, because our main goal is to have the best possible experience for the customer. To avoid unpleasant surprises, we make sure in advance that what we design is compatible with the tech, architecture, backend, and front-end. By the way, it's with the front-end team we build a strong and scalable platform, putting in place gradually a design system. So, what is a design system? A design system, it's a base of solid, reusable components with all the variation needed depending on the companies. And it's directly copied as a code, so it's a real teamwork between the designers and developers. It's kind of framework, but we allow customization by let the companies bring their own color, their own branding DNA. We can say also it's the design system is a common guidelines, is to make sure that we have common guidelines everywhere. We can say that consistency is the keyword of the design system.
Hi, I'm Emma and I'm a front-end developer on the homepage team. The Agile development model is great. It allows us to meet customer requirements quickly and with loads more flexibility. but it tends to open us up to some more inevitable issues along the way. A resilient platform is essential to maintaining our velocity, which is especially important in a project with teams who work so closely and build off of each other's work. Before I touch on the practices that I like to use in my day-to-day life, I would just like to disclaim that this is my first year as a developer, and I'm still working on these skills. So when you're struggling to meet a deadline, you might miss something tiny like a question mark, like I did yesterday. And when you're rushing to get your code reviewed, someone else might miss that as well. And you might have just started a rippling effect of issues throughout the project. With enough planning, reviewing and testing, we can avoid most problems, but if we had enough time, then it wouldn't really be an agile project anymore. So not only would good time management help prevent those errors, but it would give you time to correct them when they happen. So would having a good understanding of a story, of its requirements, and who is dependent on your story's completion. And this is all reliant on good communication. Debugging is really difficult when there isn't enough communication between team members and between teams. You might see an ineffective implementation and try and fix it, but you might not have understood why that method was implemented that way. And you might end up breaking the platform in some other unknown way, maybe the next day, but maybe weeks down the line. Communication should happen at every step of the process, from planning to review, so that when mistakes inevitably are made, there is an understanding of potential cause. And just because I've talked about some soft skills for good development, I'm just going to throw in a technical one. The ability to Google well and to navigate Stack Overflow is always extremely beneficial.
Hello, my name is Adele, and my role is to help deploy the new B2B e-commerce platform with operating companies within Sonepar. You've heard a lot about tech and how we strive to focus the product that we are developing on customer centricity and providing our customers with the best-in-class experience. The reality is that you can build the best product on the market. If you do not communicate a vision, tell a story, and explain what changes, you are strongly undermining the adoption of your new product. This is particularly true in the B2B context, where customers are companies with their own processes, culture, and mindset. To manage the adoption of this new platform, we focus on 4 principles. Build global, think local. We acknowledge the difference in cultures, in mindset, and we strive to localize as much as possible everything we do on the deployment of this new platform. We localize the platform to new brands, take into account habits and customs of the operating companies we're working for, and take into account their feedback, which is very important to us. Building a coalition for product adoption. Our top priority is to ensure that Sonepar employees are the first ambassadors of this new platform and are fully engaged in this transformation. If they are convinced, then they will be able to convince their customer easily. This is also a way for us to keep a close feedback loop with customer feedback. Start small, scale fast. We start with 4 pilot countries and we aim to learn from our experience before we launch the platform with more countries and more customers. We start with a handful of customers in each of these countries before we scale to the entire customer base. Apply agile principles to managing changes. We integrate feedback, continuously improve, and make sure that we focus on small iterative changes. We hope you enjoyed this conference and look forward to your comments on the chat. Have a nice day at Vivatech.
Thank you.